Fine, I'll do it myself.
Good tidings, friends, and welcome to Fine, I'll Do It Myself, a Marvel tier list podcast where we are tier listing all of the great Marvel movies and all the bad ones as well. And this is a special episode, Jason, who is with me as always. Hi, Jason.
Yo, I'm in the motherfucking studio.
We're actually together in
I'm
the studio at the same time for once, for first time in a while.
I'm putting my whole vussy into this episode, dude.
Bro, I'm putting my whole wussy, just like Wong did. Just like my man Wong did. Put his whole wussy into this movie, using my sling ring, dude.
Yeah.
Put my whole sussy... This is a terrible start to the episode. I might cut that out. Anyway, in this podcast, if you're not familiar with it, we, tier listed all the Marvel movies that were out at that point. And now we are, this is the first time we have a movie that is not, we didn't tier list. So here's the trailer.
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then... the nightmare begins. I did what I had to do to protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules. Look out! To become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
Spider-Man we had seen.
We had already seen.
Yeah.
I just felt like there's no way, but I guess there is a way.
We started doing this after we saw Spider-Man.
I guess there is a way.
Yeah.
There was stuff that
Jason looked at me like, we've done one. And then I held up my finger with the one shaking. There's one. So that's a trailer for the movie. Jason, let's see what we said about it last time when we made the tier list. Oh wait, we didn't.
Hey, man, wasn't. That shit was mid, dude.
Yeah, it was mid. It was very mid. Just kidding. We didn't say that because it wasn't out yet. So we just actually left the theater and came here. I have seen the movie twice now. I saw it on opening night, and then I just saw it again with Jason. The plan was originally for Jason to see it opening night with me on my birthday, but then COVID-19 had different
and I ruined his birthday.
Basically ruined my birthday. So But now we went and saw it again, or I went and saw it again, and he saw it for the first time together. Jason, what did you think of this movie?
Dude, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I was worried that it was just going to be like beat for beat, like a typical Marvel movie, and like this is like literally this is what I thought the movie was going to be like before having even seen it. I was like, okay, there's going to be multiverse shit. There's like Wanda is obviously going to be in it. Wanda is going to become a bad guy, but then ultimately be a good guy by the end, which is like not really what happened, but like she redeems herself slightly by like, obviously, I don't know, whatever. But that's what I thought was going to happen, and that was just going to be, oh, someone else was pulling the strings type deal. And so I was really glad that I was wrong. And it was really enjoyable. The horror aspects of the film were really cool. How they got away with PG-13 is insane. Sam Raimi is a GOAT.
Sam Raimi's goated, dude.
He's got GOAT status for this movie. And the fact that they, like, I did not feel like, man, I really wish they would have just made a R-rated version of this. Because it was still really raw, and there was a lot of horror to it, and
it was spooky.
All the Doctor Strange stuff that we love with, like, the cool mirror dimension shit, while also not, like, crutching it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the first movie kind of crutches it, where it's, like, every 2 seconds, it's, like, or not every 2 seconds, but, like, whenever there is action, it's, like, yo, the mirror dimension. But now it's, like, yo, they got some, like, crazy shit happening. And, like, really creative ways. Like, the Strange v. Strange fight was really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. To your point about the horror aspects of this movie, I had trouble sleeping after I saw this the first time. Not because I was like, "Oh, Wanda's gonna be down my hallway," but it just because
that's not a nightmare. That's a wet dream.
that's
a wet dream.
Let me just say, I hope Wanda splits me in half and pops my head like a balloon. All right?
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, please.
Oh man, but it was more like because it was that scene in particular, probably my favorite scene in the movie, where she faces down the Illuminati, was just it very much left an impression on me, and I was just thinking about it a lot.
It's raw.
It's surprising. It's raw. It shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could just talk about it right now. Like it's the way that they paint the Illuminati up to this point to be very smug. And
they beat Thanos without like losing really anybody. It's what it seemed like, right?
Well, but what's funny about that to me, and I was talking to Sean about this, is it's like
it looks like a utopian society.
Yeah,
plants are growing on the buildings.
But it sounds like they didn't really beat Thanos. Strange beat Thanos.
Yeah, with the book.
But then they decided because he did what had to be done or what was necessary, and then they, Black Bolt apologizes to him and he dies. And so to me, it's like they're smug. And I get Reed Richards is like, they're like the smartest man in the world. And Black Bolt, he can kill things with his voice. And Captain Marvel, we know how strong Captain Marvel is in the 616 universe. So you're assuming she's very strong in that universe as well.
Yeah.
And then Captain Carter, who's like, they paint up. The only other time we've seen Captain Carter is in What If, and I know you haven't seen What If.
No.
But the idea is she got the super soldier serum and not him.
Yeah.
And she's painted up to be like a better Steve Rogers, basically. Because she's a woman, and of course, like women are better than men, obviously.
I mean, yeah.
And so, and then you have Professor Xavier, who, has always been, at least power level wise, one of the smartest and strongest X-Men and Marvel people in the canon.
Yeah.
And so and then you have Mordo, who just they needed an introduction character into this scene, and they used Mordo for that, which we can talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
But just seeing her decimate this group of people is after them being so smug and so, well, we can deal with the Scarlet, we can deal with your witch, and then just get absolutely bodied, I thought was such a risk. But also, I think it paid off, and I think it was a very awesome creative choice. And not just, she didn't just, like, beat him up. She, like, unraveled them basically in very violent and shocking ways. And I love that about this movie.
They let Scarlet, because like I remember everyone being mad that like Scarlet Witch couldn't like beat Thanos or whatever, but like they make it seem like she really could just 1v1 him, right? Like he's barely getting past, like he's barely beating her type shit, or like
right.
Oh, because he has the Infinity Stones, he can beat her. And then like they really just let her go off, like
well, I would say some
power
of that
level
too,
wise,
though,
because it's just like, yo, we're just killing these people, dude.
right. I'd say
It's
some
dope.
of that too, though, is that now she has the power of the Darkhold.
Yeah, that too.
I think, you know, she, between when she faced
She's
off
full
with
Scarlet Witch.
Thanos, yeah, and now WandaVision, and in between, she's really upped her game as far as what she knows as a witch with witchcraft. Because I don't think the Wanda that destroyed Vision could summon like a Shuma Gorath type figure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? At that point, I think this is newer stuff. Her power level has risen over this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's my favorite scene in the movie. And even I was telling you on the way home, like even knowing it was coming, my heart started beating faster in my chest. Like, oh shit, it's about to happen.
Oh shit.
You know, like it's an incredible scene. And then you throw in the Professor Xavier killing, which
yeah.
I don't know how many times they're gonna kill this man in front of me. It's like watching your grandpa die over and over.
Keep getting away with this.
And he's just trying to be like, and he was the one you feel bad for.
Yeah.
Because he even says to Doctor Strange, hey, I think you're actually not a bad guy, and I think you can get this done, kind of thing, you know? He's the only one that sees reason.
I was kind of confused, like, where did he go? Like,
yeah, there's
they're
definitely...
in the console, and then he's like, I believe in you. And then Mordo's like, no. And then it's like, I don't know if he was like, I'll be right back, gentlemen. Like
I have to use the restroom.
Like,
no, yeah, there's definitely a scene that hit the cutting room floor there where even if it's just like him going, I'm going to go help them, you know, like,
yeah,
because he's there and then he's not. And then he shows up. And I get why they did it that way, because like, you know, he doesn't really make sense in that like 4v1 fight. He's more like take her by surprise and get inside of her mind kind of shit.
Yeah. And I like how they utilized him. I really like what they did with Professor X, and
I do too.
I love Patrick Stewart. He's goated.
The goat.
Goated as fuck.
Goated with the sauce even. So
I'm sad they didn't have also Ian McKellen in there, dude. That would have been too goated.
Yeah, Magneto's too OP, dude. You can't throw.
Would have been too goated, dude.
Did you This is totally like a tangent. But
I would have nut in the middle of the theater, dude. I would have accidentally Pee Wee Herman, dude. But having not even jerked it in the theater, I would have just straight up nutted if Ian McKellen was on screen.
I think it's X2. I saw this scene on Twitter the other day where he's in captivity, and the guy comes in the guard comes in to bring him food, and he has a special Magneto cell, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he goes, "There's something different about you, Billy," or whatever the guard's name is. And he goes, "Shut up, sit down." And he goes, "You have too much iron in your blood." And he just takes the blood out of him, the iron out of his blood, and makes the balls, and just starts killing people with the fucking dude.
So sick.
So raw, dude. I forgot about that in that X-Men movie. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Magneto. We're here to talk about Doctor Strange. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It's getting some weird reviews to me where people aren't as into it.
Yeah.
And I don't really get it.
I feel like they're just trying to be quirky, dude. That's the vibe. That's the vibe that I'm getting when I'm reading it. Because it's like, when we were like reading, like obviously they just put like we're specifically looking at Rotten Tomatoes, but
which it has a 75% on the tomato meter.
They just put the most like clickbaity type thing in their thing, right? Like to just seem like they're standing out or whatever. I don't feel like anyone really says any real substance. The person who's mad about Wanda, I guess I can understand, but in the same way, I think that they like Wanda as a superhero. Yeah, I guess I can feel bad. And you were saying earlier that it's like there was those two girls that were sitting in front of you.
Yeah,
in the theater.
In the first showing I went to with Tara and our sister Jasmine, to the front right of me, there were two very young girls with their mom in the theater. And I'm talking like 5 and 8. And there's the scene towards the end where Wanda's done all these horrible things, but then she's decided to get rid of the Darkhold the temple where the Darkhold was etched on the walls, and she's got her hands up in the air, and the two little girls in front of me put their hands up in the air like they were mimicking what she was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, part of me felt bad because I was like, man, like this Wanda was obviously a superhero that they looked up to, and they're still, they don't really understand what's going on. They're very young, but like,
yeah,
that kind of sucks.
So that definitely feels bad. I think the only way that she's redeemable is if somebody's pulling the strings, but then that just also makes her like a pawn. Like,
well, I
like the idea that it was her like the whole time. Like, yeah, the whole like Scarlet Witch prophecy or whatever, but it's like, it's still like her making all these decisions for what she thinks. It's like very personal for her still. And the fact that she isn't a pawn, I like actually.
Technically, I think what they're implying with this movie, and they say it a couple times, but they don't do that tropey thing where they're like, Wanda, fight the Darkhold. This isn't you. Like, they don't do that trope.
I like that they didn't do that.
But
they kind of do it in where it's like, yo, Wanda inside Wanda, like, try and fight it or whatever.
Right.
But it's like,
well,
that's like two different people, not, yo, a darkness, like some...
But I do think, Jason, that is implied that the Darkhold is having an influence on her.
Yeah.
Like, especially the way that they say the Darkhold, the other Doctor Strange says the Darkhold carries a toll, right?
Yeah.
They are saying that she was being influenced by the Darkhold in some way. Now, it wasn't straight mind control. Like, she obviously was making these decisions.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure she comes to these conclusions on how to handle this without the Darkhold, right?
Yeah, I could see that for sure. But I'm just saying, as far as like, oh, in the post-credit scene, we see motherfucking Mephisto was really like, even if it was like he was the one who made the runes or whatever for the Darkhold or whatever. Like, they don't just like shove it down your throat that it's like even if that ends up being the case, I like that in this movie it feels as if it's like, she is making these decisions. She's being a badass. She's doing this for her. Like, I like that it's not like, oh man, it's just because the strings were being pulled and she was like a puppet. Like,
so
I like that.
I've seen a lot of people compare the plot, or at least Wanda's part of the plot, to Shang-Chi, which is not a movie we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, I did get that vibe at one point.
His dad trying to get back his wife, right?
Yeah,
and
it's similar.
Being told by an evil power, like, "Hey, I can get you back your wife." So there is some parallels there. I think
for sure.
I don't think they're exactly the same, but I still really liked it in this movie. I really liked Wanda in this movie. I thought Elizabeth Olsen, between WandaVision and now this, like, she's really come around as a character in the MCU. Where
she is such a good actress.
Yeah. Where, like, maybe in Age of Ultron we weren't as sold on her, or even Civil War necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? But she's really come around.
They did really good with her character.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say about the movie before we start getting into some category stuff? I really actually like how despite the multiverse and the amount of characters, this movie is ultimately about Doctor Strange having closure in his life.
Yeah. It's
about mending the watch and telling Christine how you really feel, but knowing that it's okay, you're not going to be with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't his Christine he said it to.
It's kind of like the end of Spider-Man, right? Where it's like, it's even better as far as like closure, but it's like, okay, I'm not gonna be with this girl, and that's okay, type thing, right? Like,
right.
It's definitely similar to that. I thought it was a bit cringe at the end where it's like, he's just walking down the street and he's a normal fucking guy, like in the post-credit scene or whatever.
Well, they do it twice. We can talk about the post-credit scene later, but they kind of awkwardly do it twice.
Yeah, they kind of do, actually.
And I don't know, think about it. To the point where I've seen people, shouts and Nesquik, I've seen people say, like, so wait, he was walking down the street and then the third eye came out and then he just got back up and walked down the street again? But that's not what happens. It's a different day, clearly, because he's wearing a different outfit. He has that scarf. He has his cape as his scarf, where the other day that's not what he was wearing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about the post-credit scene later. But yeah, I just think they wanted a shocking scene for the end, and they didn't know what to do other than the third eye. But then they wanted a post-credit scene And if they do the third eye, then they have to like flash forward a little bit to him being comfortable with the third eye, right?
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, it's a little. Yeah, I really liked how this movie is closure for him from the first movie.
Yeah, it didn't get wrapped up. Like, I think a good example of like the opposite is like the like Civil War is an Avengers movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a Captain America is definitely at the core of it, but I think in a similar way, it's like definitely feels like it's more wrapped up by the other people that are in it. Like they kind of steal the show, whereas I don't feel like that was really the case with this. It's definitely a Doctor Strange movie.
And we can talk about this more when we get to Civil War, actually. But I do think Civil War does a decent job of it being a Cap story. The problem is Cap is so wrapped up in this world with these other people where it's a Cap, Iron Man, Bucky story. Like, it's all three of them are very important to it, right?
That's true, yeah.
Where he's not really tied to, the Avengers at large. He was a little later than that. Like, I think they still with this movie, they did a good job of including these other characters and also making it about Doctor Strange and making it is his movie. It's where Spider-Man No Way Home, I think, is a more exciting movie, but I don't know if it's as good of a Spider-Man movie. Well, it is because it's about other Spider-Man too, but it's not as good of a 616 Marvel Spider-Man movie. It's just about Spider-Man in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's yeah. I get what you're saying. They do a good job of being like, okay, there are other Doctor Stranges, but like they don't ultimately matter.
Right.
And part of it is because it's all Benedict Cumberbatch, but also it's like, and obviously there's not like previous movies they're pulling from. There's not like, so many people are like, yo, this is my childhood Doctor Strange, or like something like that, right?
Well, they don't do like a whole like, okay, Black Bolt shows up and, hey, do you guys remember the show that they did on NBC for like 7 episodes? Because it's the same actor, right? And they don't go, hey, remember that? And then flash back to something that happened in that show. They just go, hey, this is Black Bolt. You know who the fuck he is. He yells loud and kills things with it, and he's a tuning fork on his head. And he's smug as fuck, okay? Like that's all they do, and that's good. They don't go, John Krasinski doesn't beam in and go, hey, by the way, this is how I got my powers. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, hey, these characters are here, and
it's not about them.
We talked about it a little bit in Eternals when we did that movie, how it's like, it's cool that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has reached a point where weird things can happen and no one questions it. Well, it's also reached that point where they can just introduce characters without like really giving them a ton of backstory, but because you know who they are or their reputation, it's fine.
Yeah. Or even if you don't, like, for example, I don't know shit about Black Bolt. I didn't even know about the show, dude. But I understand.
You didn't know about the Inhumans show?
No, I don't. I didn't pay attention to it.
Seriously?
I don't pay attention to any of the shows. Period.
So
I've barely watched WandaVision.
That's true. That's true.
The shows are fucking cringe, bro. Especially the old ones. The old ones are cringe.
So Inhumans was bad. And it was 8 episodes, apparently, back in 2017 on NBC. It had Anson Mount's Black Bolt and all kinds of people. And it got confusing to the point where I never watched it. But it got confusing to the point where I got confused on the Inhumans and the Eternals.
Yeah, that's definitely confusing.
And
well, because the Inhumans are the ones where they have like the teleporting dog or some shit, right?
Yeah.
They're the one where they have like the powerful dog. That's the Inhumans.
I think so.
I feel like I remember getting mixed up with them and the Eternals as well. Way back when like all this shit was being announced, right? Yeah.
One thing they did with this is they released like the first 2 episodes in theaters too, if I remember correctly.
Weird.
And it was like not
theater quality.
It didn't make sense. Like, why? Yeah. The first Marvel TV series released in IMAX 2 weeks before its TV airing.
There's no way that would look good on IMAX. Like, unless they shot it in IMAX, which they definitely could have. And that's probably where all their budget went if they did.
Maybe we'll do an Inhumans review.
Way at the end of the series.
Well, like maybe we'll do like a stretch goal or something to do an Inhumans review or something. But anyway, so yeah, it was the same actor from the TV show.
Yeah.
Anson Mount portraying Black Bolt. Anyway, anything else we want to say about this movie before we get into categories? I know I said that a while ago, but I really wanted to drive home the Doctor Strange.
No, I think we can get into it, dude.
Okay, so I have one piece of IMDb trivia because obviously this movie hasn't been out very long, so there's not a ton. But I really like this this trivia. The one-eyed tentacle monster in the film is known in the Marvel Comics as Shuma-Gorath, who was named from a phrase in the Robert E. Howard short story The Curse of the Golden Skull, published in spring of 1967. Due to a rights issue between Marvel and Howard's estate, the film has the monster renamed Gargantos after a sea monster in the Marvel Comics. So Shuma-Gorath is known as a Doctor Strange villain, and he's this dimension-jumping monster. One eye, bunch of tentacles. But he's definitely supposed to be Shuma-Gorath.
Yeah.
But they renamed him Gargantos because of this estate issue. And Gargantos is just like a sea monster with one eye.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That Namor fights. So I've been referring to him as definitely not Shuma-Gorath. And I wonder when this...
I can't believe it's not.
I wonder when this estate issue began, because in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I probably was 10 years ago now at this point, Shuma-Gorath is one of the DLC characters, and he's named Shuma-Gorath. So I wonder if it was a movie thing, if they're like, hey,
movies and games and
right,
books, and
they're like, we don't want him to be in the movie
rights.
or whatever, but it ends up being a red herring anyway, because he's controlled by Wanda and sent by Wanda. And I liked that red herring because, to your point earlier, you said it wasn't super apparent that Wanda was going to be the villain.
Yeah.
Especially from the TV spots, and that's on purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there was somebody else pulling the string, so to speak, when you see Shuma-Gorath, but it's just a red herring, you know?
Yeah. Well, and then like the alternate reality thing where it's like, yo, this monster was in a different reality. There's no way it was Wanda, but then it is.
Right.
It's done well.
Yeah.
And it's believable. It's not one of those things where, like, they give you the reason and you're like, really, dude? Like, that seems pretty contrived. Like, it's actually done well. And that whole scene in where she's like, has the, like, in the garden or whatever, like the fake tree garden or whatever. That shit is really cool.
Which, we'll just jump to this right now. Jason, good villain or bad villain?
Dude,
Wanda Maximoff.
Immensely good villain, dude. Also, I remember she's like, literally in that scene, I knew something was up immediately, because she's like, yeah, I put the magic behind me. Like, when he's like, it smells real. Like, there's no, and then I'm like, there's literally no way. These trees are like 15 years old, bro. It has been like several months.
Yeah.
It's been several months since she let go of this city or whatever, right?
And like, okay, you could imply that the trees were there before and she took over the farm or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
No, but to me, it seemed heavily implied that it was like, she's taking care of this whole thing, and like, these are her trees and shit like that. And I was like, nah, bro, she's using magic. Because like, you see it, and I was also like thinking a lot about the end of WandaVision, where she is doing like a similar thing, where it's like, it looks like she's just in this cabin in the middle of nowhere, and she's holding the teacup to her body to feel warm and comfy, because she just had a big ordeal. And then in the other room, she's doing fucking dark magic and shit.
Right.
Like,
So what
it was really well done. I love that scene.
Yeah, I really liked that scene. What I found really interesting, and maybe we do need to watch WandaVision next, a rewatch of that, because she says, after she's found out, because the way she's found out is she says, maybe you could bring America here. And then Doctor Strange kind of stops in his tracks. And this is like a tropey thing that happens all the time, but I really like it.
Yeah.
Where she's like, you didn't tell me your name, did you? And he's like, no.
I think it worked to me.
Right. It's tropey, but it worked. Which, like, I always wonder if I was in that kind of situation, like I'm Doctor Strange in that situation, do I realize that someone did that? You know what I mean? Like, am I like...
I think if I'm like Doctor Strange and there's like, you're paying attention to all the like words and stuff people are saying, like, well, also he has like a photographic memory or whatever.
That's true.
Right?
That's
so,
true.
Like,
it's funny because he didn't even suspect that she was behind it at all. He's just like, oh, I know someone who knows about witchcraft.
Yeah.
And he didn't even go, oh, you're behind this. He just was like, I need your help, right? And so but anyway, what I was gonna say is, when she's found out, she goes, the hex was the easy part. The lying, however, and then reveals, and a lot of people, myself included, are reading that to mean that she's not retconning, but she's changing her story about what happened in Westview. Is that Westview? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
That sounds right. And to me, where it's like, she claimed originally that she had no idea how she did it or what's going on. But I think she was just lying to Vision at this point.
Oh, I think that's a cool theory. I don't know. I guess it would depend on how far back she means, you know?
Right. Or it could be a situation where she wasn't cognizant of what she was doing, but now that the Darkhold has a hold on her a little bit, she's like, yeah, I meant to do that. Like,
yeah,
she's like,
yeah, I think it would be one of those.
I know. Anyway, we were talking about if she's a good villain or a bad villain. I think she's a great villain.
Yeah.
But I think we also have the unlike a lot of Marvel villains, we have the setup for her. She's been in 4 or 5 movies. She's had her own TV show.
True.
And so that makes it a lot easier to have a villain that you A, care about, and B, hate. You know what I mean? At the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they do a great job. And like what I said earlier, I like that it's not, we're beating you over the head with this. Somebody is pulling the strings. Even if it ends up being that, which I don't think it's going to be. Like,
no, I think just the evil inside that Darkhold took a hold of her a little bit.
Yeah, like it amplified her.
Amplified, exactly.
It's like kind of like the ring in the Lord of the Rings type deal, right?
Exactly. The One Ring.
Yeah, so I think that was really, really well done. She's fucking scary in the chase scenes and stuff. She's just badass. I love how she just absolutely slaughters the Illuminati. Even though it's kind of bullshit that these other 2 dudes just get absolutely bodied, one shot, deleted, easy fucking clap, literally make a joke, what mouth, and fucking kill him. And then Captain America, the most underpowered fucking Avenger, just like goes toe to toe with her for like a couple minutes. I don't know, bro. Like, yeah, it's cool, like the whole shield thing. But you're telling me that like it's not cooler if like she just also gets one shot. She throws the shield and she immediately deflects it and fucking cuts her in half. I would have been like, yo! Like if she just one shot, and then Captain Marvel goes toe to toe. That would be way more cool and believable.
So I think what's happening there that you're maybe not thinking about is that they both go at her at the same time. It's not just like she's 1v1ing Captain America. That's not her name.
She's like throwing it. She's throwing it at her while Captain Marvel's blasting
shooting at her,
her.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're and then she knocks Captain Marvel away for a minute, and then there's like smoke everywhere, and she kind of sneaks up on her, and then when it becomes 1-on-1, she pretty much gets bodied immediately.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm not saying like she's like going toe to toe for like a solid couple minutes or whatever, right? Like it's not like when Captain America's fighting Thanos, right? Which is like more believable because it's like a fucking like they're fighting like throwing punches type shit, right?
Right.
Instead of fucking magic and shit. But like, you're telling me she can literally take the dude's mouth without anybody looking, but like the chick throws a shield at her and she can't just like turn it into fucking pudding or cake. It turns into one of those. One of those. Oh my god! I can't believe it's cake videos.
Well, my thing is not necessarily that she didn't do that, but when she whips the shield back at her, how fucking fast does that thing need to be going to cut someone clean in half?
Yeah, dude.
Because
that was some Odin shit, dude.
Well, that shield in particular, her shield, Captain Carter's shield, is like, to me, looking at it, it looks more rounded than Cap's did.
Yeah, it does seem more rounded. It kind of seems like smaller, more rounded type deal.
Cap's looks sharp as fuck always to me, right?
Yeah.
Hers almost had a lip on it, I feel like looking at it. And to me,
his just seems like bigger and flatter to me.
Yeah, hers was more rounded for sure. And so to me, if it was Cap's shield, that thing could fly through anything like butter, right?
Yeah.
With some good speed behind it. Wanda had to fucking just 100-mile-an-hour fastball that thing to get it through someone's fucking stomach,
Yeah.
right? Clean through their spine, I get that, we're nitpicking.
Oh, yeah,
this,
it's
this
definitely a
scene
nitpick.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's a superhero movie, but like, and they couldn't, if they wanted to keep this PG-13, they couldn't do a thing where it just kind of went in half of her body.
Yeah.
So it had to go clean, but she had to really put some fucking spicy fire on that thing to fucking get it through all the way.
I think it's cool ultimately. But
I do too. And Captain Carter, wow, I can't think of the actress's name, and I feel like a dick because of it, because she's great. And it's not going to show me on here because they're all fucking like secret casting.
True. Yeah. Like I have to think for a second before I even know like motherfuckers that are in like, okay, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.
Haley Atwell is her name. Haley Atwell. She does a fantastic job of selling the pain, along with the musical score of that shield going through her fucking abdomen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just the shock, which I do have. I'm really nitpicking this scene that I love very much.
Yeah.
But,
it's Mike's favorite scene. He said it to me like a million times.
It's my favorite scene. But I was watching it on YouTube before we even went to see it a second time, because I got to see the scene again. It's freaking me out.
Yeah, it's his favorite scene.
She kind of does like a full Captain Carter does like a full like frisbee toss of the shield at her, right?
Uh-huh.
And then Wanda catches it and does her own little spin and throws it back. And the way it's shot, it's like Captain Carter turned her back to Wanda and then turns around and the shield goes through her, which I don't...
Maybe the momentum had her do another spinaroo.
Yeah, maybe she did a full spin. I don't know, but it seemed like it was supposed to catch her by surprise. But like, how many times have we seen Cap throw his shield at somebody like Bucky and he catches it and throws it back?
And then he no-look catches it
and then he no-look catches, so... It was a little convenient that she died that way. It was awesome. I think it's a very, very raw and cool scene. But
another nitpick for this scene that we also were talking about before is like literally the first two dudes just get killed in the most raw, visceral way, like taking what they're good at and like essentially just it doesn't matter against Scarlet Witch. Like your voice, oh yeah, you can't use it. You fucking kill yourself with your own voice. Oh, you're stretchy? I'm going to pull you in until you just fucking...
French fries.
Yeah, dude.
Spaghetti. And then pop your head like a fucking balloon.
And then it shows like Captain Carter and Captain Marvel look at each other and they kind of just like no-sell the shit.
Yeah.
Like they just got fucking eviscerated.
Their reaction to me wasn't stark enough. It wasn't like, yo, this is fucked up, right?
Yeah.
I think
Sam Raimi didn't give him the best direction, or
or they didn't know what they were doing, because like both those deaths are like CG.
Yeah.
And at least okay, so she says the Black Bolt like what mouth, and then he's like woo, woo, he's not making noise yet, but he realize he's feeling around. And then it does a reaction shot to Captain Marvel and it does a reaction shot to Captain Carter. And they both look like scared.
Yeah.
So that it's decent there. His head blows up. Then Reed Richards reaches forward and starts getting shredded. And then it shows them kind of like look at each other. But their reaction isn't like, oh my God, our friends just got terribly murdered. Their reaction is, all right, let's
save the world together.
Right. And which is fine, because maybe they've seen a lot of horrific people die. I don't know.
Yeah.
But to me, I thought that led me to believe, hey, these scenes all weren't shot together at the same time.
Yeah.
On the green screen. Anyway, we've been dancing around because we're very excited about this movie.
We literally just saw it, yeah.
Do you have any other nitpicks about the movie in general? Besides
the whole like, wait, where the fuck did Xavier go? I was confused about that.
That scene's a little weird. We talked about that. On a second watch, the only other nitpick I had, and I talked to you about this in the car, but at the end of the movie, Wanda is trying to take the power from America Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
And she's taking the power, and Doctor Strange is getting his little plot ready to possess Zombie Strange. And when Zombie Strange finally arrives, America Chavez is still in the air, and Wanda's like messing around with like the statue for some reason. She's no longer taking the power out of her.
She took a break.
Right. I don't know. Maybe that's really taxing, and I just don't know. I just thought that was a little weird on second watch. I guess if we think of another nitpicks later, we can go into it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite scene in this movie, Jason? I mean, we already talked about my favorite scene a lot.
My favorite scene is, I think it's got to be when Zombie Strange turns the demons into a cape.
Oh yeah, you like that
Because
one?
I wanted that to happen, and then it did, and it was just like, oh my god.
Wait, you were
dude.
sitting there like,
Looks
yo, I
so
hope he
good.
makes him a cape?
Yeah.
Is that something that's happened before?
No, I just was like when there's like these fucking like, I don't know if it was almost like subliminal messaging or some shit, right? Or that I'm like a being from another multiverse or some shit.
Yeah, maybe you've seen this shit before.
But like, maybe in a different multiverse, Jason saw it on your birthday, and I'm like having those memories, like
you had a dream about it. Yeah.
I'm dream walking currently or something. But I literally like they're wrapping around him, and like how they're wrapping around him, I'm thinking like, yo, if Zombie fucking Strange has a fucking demon cape, bro. Because I'm like, how is he going to get over there, right?
I guess that's true because he doesn't have a cape at that point. So that makes sense. Okay,
So-
I'm with you now.
That's how I'm like, oh my god, dude. Like, please make these demons into a cape and fly over there like a fucking just badass demon. Like, I'm thinking about like how in like Ultimate Alliance, like you literally go into hell. You know, like you literally just go to hell.
Yeah.
And it's raw and it's cool and you kill demons and shit.
Right.
And I was like, they better do some cool ass shit in this movie, dude. If we're gonna have, because like back then it's like, yo, if we're gonna have Mephisto or some shit, it's like this shit better actually be fucking cool, and it fucking was, dude. And then when he's got like all of his arms and stuff, like how he has it in Infinity War,
Yeah.
that shit's fucking cool, dude. But it's like
Cool
zombie
callback, yeah.
hands, and it was just badass. I really liked the Zombie Strange scenes.
Runner up for me because it just is so fucking cool. The scene when him and Christine get banished to the incursion world where the two worlds have collided,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he opens up the door to the sanctum,
Yeah, dude.
and it's the one planet eclipsing the other one,
Yeah.
right? Or the moon or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And it's fucking Castlevania, baby.
Yeah.
And he's walking, it's red,
Well-
and it's like a sliver, and he's walking up the stairs, and it's
And
like, holy
It's
shit.
the water goes all the way up to
Ugh.
the stairs. It looks really cool.
What a stylish fucking look. Like, just
That's like, yo, I want that as my background on my
for
desktop,
sure,
dude.
That just what an incredible job. And like, that's the kind of shit that blows my mind in movies sometimes when, like, okay, they probably had a staircase and then everything else was just a green screen, right?
Yeah.
And they maybe threw some water down. I don't know. But then to take something like that and go, okay, I know what this is going to look like. And then you just have this
And
cool
then you
backdrop.
do it in like
Oh,
8K. Oh
dude,
my god.
So cool, man.
Movie makers are so cool,
Right.
dude.
And then that leading into the music fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my runner up for sure.
I really like the music fight. The shout outs, Fabio. I was wondering what he was going to think about it because I'm not a big, I love music, but I'm not a big music like notation. Like I'm not looking at
the technical side of it.
right. And he said I was like, he's either going to think this is cheesy or he's going to think this is cool. And he thought it was cool because it was accurate. Right. And obviously Danny Elfman did the score, and Danny Elfman's a legend. His nitpick about it was that they used like classical music instead of like, oh, write a cool fucking score on your own that they use to fight, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, and like there wouldn't just be random, like he's pulling it from music sheets.
Yeah, and Doctor
So-
Strange plays the piano.
So logically, it would be like classical music that would
because
be
he's
there.
a snob. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So like I was like, oh,
It makes sense.
I get the nitpick, but like that makes sense to me. Not to like put Fabio on blast live on the podcast. Shout out to Fabio. Something that's not a category, but I want to say, I've seen a lot of people say that the CGI in this movie was bad.
I disagree entirely, wholeheartedly.
And I was looking for that on the second watch because people are pretty adamant about it. And
They're wrong.
there was one scene maybe where I was like, okay, you can tell that America Chavez is running along a green screen, and definitely not Shuma Gorath is chasing her, right?
Mhm.
But she's on a green screen. Other than that, like when I look for bad CGI, I look for bad animation, right? Take the beginning of Age of Ultron. like Thor's jumping from like vehicle to vehicle, and his body stretches in like abnormal ways because whoever was animating it didn't read like the book of animation or whatever, right? And so it like he's stretching in weird ways, and they didn't put enough time into it to make it work, and it's like half baked. Or like the beginning of Shang-Chi, where I believe it's the part where he's like the Mandarin is going all Dynasty Warriors at the beginning, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he knocks over this cart, and this gold falls out of it, but the gold looks so terrible.
Yeah, the
like,
animation looked really bad.
It's really bad. There was nothing even close to that in this movie that I thought.
Not that I can think of, no.
I just didn't feel that way, and so I'm still like, if you have examples of bad CG in this movie, I want to know. I want you to say in the comments, because I just didn't see it, and maybe I'm just easily impressed, but I don't know. I was like, especially the Shumagoraf scene, people were saying that one, and I was like watching it. I was like, he looks like.
The only thing I could think of maybe is the part where like the bus is like split apart or whatever. But to me, it's just like when you literally have real life behind it. Like,
well, right, he's supposed to look fantastical and not real. Like,
well, I'm not even saying him, but like the bus.
Well, that too.
That part was the only thing where I guess I could see that maybe. But to me, that's just like stylistically how they want it to look.
I just didn't.
I feel like I'm
really
nitpicky about that stuff as well, because it's like when it comes to looking at like as a trog PC gamer, looking at fucking frame rates and doing all the like graphic settings on my video games and shit, like I feel like I have a pretty good eye for that shit, and like noticing when frame rate drops and shit like that. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like this shit looked clean.
Yeah, I thought he was animated with a lot of care, Shumagorath, particularly like the way his like eyes would move, or his eye would move, like it would crease when he was like, or like when Doctor Strange takes that bus and splits it apart, and he's just like looking at it with wonderment, like what is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I thought he was really well done. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. Anyway, what's the worst scene in the movie, Jason?
I can't think what the worst scene is. The only thing that's like weird is like I think it's cringe that it's like, okay, now that Doctor Strange, he fixed the watch and shit. What's he gonna do? He's gonna go out on a walk on the town, baby. It's like that doesn't really seem to like fit his character. You know what I mean? Like,
well, he's trying to be happier. He's trying to be happy. Yeah,
for sure. But to me, it was like, okay, this is kind of cringe, bro. Like, this is some fucking Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire walking down the fucking.
It's Sam Raimi,
He's
dude.
hitting the motherfucking dance and shit, dude. Like, if he came out hitting that dance and doing the motherfucking clap and shit, bro, that he might as well have.
Yeah,
that's the worst scene to me.
I
like
actually,
every other part of the movie.
Okay, I don't think there is a bad scene in this movie, in my opinion. I enjoy all of it. I think the movie's snappy as fuck. I think it gets through shit real fast. Like, you don't feel like
there's
no
drag.
wasted your time at all. The only scene I'm gonna this is a very nitpicky thing. They have the scene where they both have the memories, right? They're walking through whatever world that is, and they both have the memories. And I like America Chavez's memory because it kind of gives us her backstory. But Doctor Strange's memory is fine. But you're telling me they couldn't have put a little bit of the budget on de-aging the motherfucker? Because you're telling me this guy's in like medical school and that's how he looks? They shaved his goatee, but he was looking like 45. You know what I mean?
I didn't even notice.
I did.
I was looking at the box, the watch.
Yeah,
Christine.
Well, she looks younger because they gave her some bangs, right? They gave her a different haircut. Like, women can get away with that a lot because they're just factually beautiful.
True.
Men, when they got all them wrinkles on their forehead, like he looked like the same dude, but his
you
hair.
Understand, dude? When you go through medical school, that shit ages you in dog years.
No, dude, they could have throw some of that de-aging on him like they did the fucking.
Shout out to everyone who's gone through medical school that's listening to this. Everyone in here's got PhDs, I know for sure, and you're all goated.
Like they could have thrown some de-aging on him like they did Michael Douglas and Ant-Man, dude. I'm just saying he could have looked a little younger.
Yeah.
But not a bad scene. Like I said, there's not a scene that I feel like wastes your time.
No.
But the fight with Mordo is a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's clever, it's snappy, it's quick.
And it's having watched Doctor Strange, like the first one recently, it's like a throwback to it, where like when he's fighting Mordo and he gets him with the boots again.
Yep. Mordo with the shit.
The fleet foot. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's something like that. At least he didn't bust out the staff of the Living Tribunal.
Yeah, dude. But it was a throwback to that, and I like the rivalry, and it sets up the rivalry. Like, he sets it up well, where he's like, okay, this is still Mordo. I can still trigger him. Like,
well, another thing about that, now that we're talking about Mordo, is like Doctor Strange describes Mordo to America as someone who's dedicated his life to killing me. We haven't seen any of that.
No.
And that was one of my nitpicks with Doctor Strange, is like, we don't see Mordo again, and then when we do, it's not even Mordo.
Yeah, that's
Carl
true.
Mordo.
That's true.
So that one's interesting. I wonder if we're gonna get some more of that later on down the road. But it seems like even in this movie, Mordo's kind of outclassed. You know what I mean? He's just not the type of villain that's going to be effective.
Well, and Doctor Strange even flames him, where he's like, yo, getting Doctor Strange killed is the only motherfucking way you're getting on this council, bruh.
Right, for sure. What's your biggest pop off of this movie, dude? What made you go, whoa? I mean,
John Krasinski, bro.
That was
I was like, what?
Jason audibly said what in the theater when John Krasinski, and the way they have him come in, where he comes from like that square teleporter thing.
Yeah, dude.
And he's just
that
like,
shit was so cool.
He's just like, yeah, motherfucker, it's me, John Krasinski.
That shit was so cool. Well, because they name drop Baxter.
Yeah.
Like,
they name drop Baxter pretty with Christine.
Yeah,
alternate universe Christine.
And it didn't even click with me, bro. And then motherfucking John Krasinski, Reed Richards. Honestly, we were talking about this. I feel like a lot of people, they get like CG done to make them look even bigger and stronger. I feel like they had to bring him down, dude.
Yeah, they made
to
John,
make him a Reed Richards,
John a little bit.
like lanky and stuff, dude. I don't know, dude. I feel like this motherfucker's got some broad shoulders, dude. Even when he's Jim, dude, he's sitting there at the fucking cubicle, bro.
Well, he's
Jim
fucking
Halpert.
Jack Ryan right now, dude.
Yeah.
He's Jack Ryan who's ripped to shreds.
Yeah, he's ripped to shreds. But even Jim Halpert had some broad shoulders, bro.
Jim Halpert, athlete.
They fucking CGI'd him to look
you
smaller.
Remember that episode when Jim was just classing everybody in basketball, dude?
Yeah,
fucking
dude.
athlete, dude. And then they
Chad.
shrunk John, dude.
Giga Chad.
And I get that, like, that Reed Richards is supposed to be, like, kind of slender because he stretches, but, like, he didn't even look, like, slender. He just looks kind of, like, out of shape.
Yeah.
And I know he's probably just wearing a giant green suit so they can just green screen whatever they want on him. But
yeah. They nerfed him with the green screen suit,
you know what?
dude.
That's the bad CGI. That's the bad CGI everybody's talking about.
I know Jim Halpert's got some big ass shoulders,
We know
dude.
John's ripped. Bring back ripped ass John. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? That was my biggest pop off too. I think is John.
Yeah. Other than that, I guess like the zombie cape.
Yeah, the zombie cape's cool.
I thought that was really cool. When Wong kills the demon underneath, I was like, yo.
Dude,
honestly, they nerfed Wong in this, dude.
No, dude, Wong's hyping this, and here's why.
He is, but like I want him to be stronger, I guess is what I should say.
So they're at Carmitage, which no one can really figure out how to say that word. Even Wong says it differently a couple times. He says Carmitage is Carmitage. Like he says it. No one knows how to say that. It's like saying penguin when you're Benedict Cumberbatch. But they're
shout out to Whale.
Guardian from Wanda getting in with the big shield. And then she kind of stops, and Doctor Strange is like, she's trying to get in their heads. And Wong just like squats, like a let's go squat.
Yeah, I actually love how he does that.
He puts his fingers on his head. And he goes, fortify your mind.
Your mind.
Like that, dude. Dude, Wong is fucking goated, dude.
I love Wong.
Dude, Wong, fortify your minds. I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
I'm fortifying my mind, dude.
Dude, I will forever fortify my mind.
That's what I'm gonna think of. That's a motherfucking TikTok idea, dude. You see some like thirst trap ass TikTok or whatever, right?
Yeah, and then you're just like fortify
and then
your
it cuts
mind.
It cuts to fortify your mind. Stay on the grind.
I love how they give them the moment at the end where Doctor Strange is asking him if he's happy. And he goes, I sometimes think about what my other versions of myself are like, but I'm grateful for what I have here, even with problems. And Doctor Strange goes, at least we can do it together. And he goes, we can. And then he bows to him, which, Wong was jokingly asking for the whole movie. And, Doctor Strange gives him that respect.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that they're homies.
Yeah. I also like that Doctor Strange kind of broke the cycle of the other Doctor Strange and didn't try to sell America out, which
Yeah.
can we have an America appreciation corner for a second here?
Yes, true.
Because typically,
And the actress, I don't know how to say her name, bro.
yeah, hold on, I'm gonna find out how to pronounce it because she deserves some
She
respect
deserves
on
the
her
respect.
name. She deserves
Literally the respect on her name.
She literally deserves it. It's like so Xochitl Gomez, dude. Okay, now that we know how to say her name.
Loaded.
Like, okay, typically when you cast an actual teenager in a movie, not just like a 20-something pretending to be a teenager.
Yeah. They could be
Typically they're annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like having like the character in a video game, like having the character that you have to like protect and walk around with.
Yeah.
And they're constantly chattering and blah blah.
Are constantly like, hey, this is what we're supposed to do.
Xochitl is goated because she's funny.
Yep.
She's a good actress.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's powerful, but doesn't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
She's gay.
Yep.
And at the end, she whoops Wanda's ass.
True.
And I never
Well,
got
and
sick of her. I love the relationship between her and Strange. And at the end, they get a moment where she's like, I'm glad I found the universe. And he's like, me too, kid.
Yeah.
They never make it weird.
Nope.
Like,
nope. I like so the beginning of her character where she doesn't trust him, and it's like rightfully so.
Right, because the last Doctor Strange tried to murder her.
And it's done well. It's not like she has natural progression in her character development that makes sense, right? And even at the end where now she like fully trusts him and stuff. But then the fact that it's not like he's like, you gotta trust it and believe in yourself, right? And then she's not just like instantly like, I'm fucking OP now, dude. Like she fucks her up, but is like, oh no, like,
Well,
shit.
she's smart enough to realize that she can't defeat her, but she has to show her.
Yes, dude. That's
why.
exactly what I'm trying to say,
Right,
dude.
right.
It's like she's not immediately all powerful because that's fucking cringe, dude.
So
You're telling me you can beat Scarlet motherfucking Witch who just deleted the Illuminati because Doctor Strange said you could? No, they do it well.
right.
Her being able to control her power to go, hey, let's go to this dimension that you were already at, or like, the dimension we were just at. Like that's way more believable and also makes sense as to how you could resolve the situation.
Right.
It's just done well.
Right. Also her jacket is pog.
Yeah, and I like that the portals she makes are stars.
Yep.
That's cool too.
Yep. The name's dope, America Chavez. Like that's just a sick fucking name.
That's honestly a goated ass name,
It is.
dude.
It is. It's super cool. And I just think she's like just so likable. And
Yeah.
that's really tough to do with like a teenager in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they nailed it.
Typically
And
in most movies with a character like this, I would dislike them.
yeah, like her charisma is a huge part of it, I think.
True.
I think she's just she did very well in the movie.
Also,
So-
the like screams and shit she does.
Yeah, they're on a different level. Like
Yeah.
her screams were very like unique and like high pitched and like
Yeah.
you could feel her terror,
Yeah,
and that's part of being a good actor. But America Chavez, the rumor is, Jason, that they're planning on doing a Young Avengers
Okay.
at some point with her,
Okay.
and Kate Bishop,
Okay.
and
They have an age gap, but okay.
the Kamala Khan show that's coming out.
Okay. Okay. I remember people were trying to say like Wiccan was gonna be on it or whatever, but it's like
Yeah,
that seems
like-
pretty dead at this point.
You haven't seen Winter Soldier, but there's a young man in that, which I think would be strange, but okay. And then Kid Loki from season 1 of Loki. What?
What?
There's no way that list is real.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure the kid from Iron Man 3 is also supposed to be in it.
So this is Kate Bishop, Cassie Lang, who's Scott Lang's son or daughter. What the fuck?
Okay, that makes sense.
Elijah Bradley, who apparently is the Patriot in the comics, but he doesn't do anything in Falcon Winter Soldier really.
It's kind of like a name drop type deal.
So like we're gonna watch the show eventually. This isn't a spoiler, but basically you find out there were other members of the Super Soldier program back when Captain America did it.
Okay.
And one was an African American man, and I don't remember his first name. Isaiah Bradley, there it is. but he was like treated terribly because he's black.
That makes sense.
And that's like a whole thing Sam has to deal with. But this is his like grandson.
Okay, so he's got like super serum in his veins.
Apparently, it's just the name.
Like residual.
Yeah,
it's kind of like how Aragorn like lives a long time, but he's not like fucking on that level because it's like it weakens in the bloodline.
Yeah, but they don't do anything in the show with it. It's just like a name, like this guy is
like
goes
some
on to
fan
be that
service
in the,
type
yeah,
deal.
Exactly. And they have Tommy and Billy, Wiccan and Speed, America Chavez, and Kid Loki, and then Harley Keener.
Yeah.
Or Nathaniel Richards. Okay, so one thing I did want to talk about, and then Kamala Khan, and then there is an Ironheart show. Miles Morales. Okay, now they're just Vision
because they name drop Miles Morales and
Vision's not young anyway. So
he is young. It's only a few years old, Mike.
In the comics, and I could be wrong about the exact way this works, but He Who Remains in Loki. What's the character's name? Kang, right?
Yeah, Kang.
Kang in the comics sometimes is a descendant of Reed Richards.
Okay.
Like, very far descendant.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting that they made a point of, and he's out trying to appeal to Wanda, but he says, "Hey, I have kids. I know what it's like." And she goes, "Do they have a mother?" And he goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, good. There'll be someone to raise them." Like, but it's interesting that just something to keep in the little feather in the hat.
That's true.
Just,
it's something that they can use as a line, but even be like, "Yo, we point back to this. This was planned the whole time."
Right, and that takes us, I guess, to our next category: best Marvel Easter egg. I like the idea that well, we didn't talk about Charles Xavier too much yet, but Charles Xavier, when he comes out, they play the X-Men 1992. They call it X-Men 97, but the show started in 92. But the show that's going to be on Disney Plus that they're like rebooting it with is called X-Men 97.
Okay.
And they play the when he rolls out, like an orchestrated version of it. And he's in the gold chair and he has the green suit, which is his look from that cartoon.
Yeah.
In the movies, he never had that gold chair or the green suit in that way.
No.
So it's clear they're trying to invoke that Professor Xavier, and I really enjoyed that. But still have Patrick Stewart play him, which I just think is very cool.
Yeah, I loved it. Dude, I don't know. I liked the scene where he's like in her head or whatever, and he's like trying to free the other Wanda. Dude, he's like dripped out, dude.
He is a little dripped out.
Hell.
He was wearing like
I could hear the Playboy Cardi in my head, dude. I'm like, I was like, oh, yo, he fucking dripped out, bro.
He was very close to The Rock's old ass Instagram picture that everybody makes fun of.
Yeah.
He just needed the chain and the fanny pack, dude.
Exactly,
He was there.
Dude.
Yeah.
He was looking, he dripped out, dude.
I was a little nervous for him. I mean, I knew he was gonna die, but like, just the actor. He's pretty old, and having him walk around and get his neck snapped.
I thought about that. Like, that's really cool that this was able to happen, because it's like he's hella old. You know what I mean? Like you.
Well, and I like that we didn't talk about this, but when people asked him if he's in the movie, and he's like, I don't know who Doctor Strange is.
Oh no, is he having a dementia moment, guys?
No,
does he actually not know?
He was under NDA, dude. He actually did know.
No, Patrick Stewart.
What was your favorite Easter egg, dude? I mean, I liked the mention of the Baxter Foundation.
Yeah,
as a little subtle nod before meeting Reed Richards.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
I like that world building type of stuff.
You know what I didn't notice the first time I watched this movie, and I wonder if you did? They showed the flashback where they killed that Universe is Strange, right?
Yeah.
And in the foreground, if you're looking, Thanos is just there fucking dead.
Oh, no, I didn't notice him.
Dude, it almost blends in with the scenery, but he's just laying there dead, and it looks like his like double-sided glaive is stabbed through his chest.
Yeah.
I just hit my mic. Stabbed through his chest, and he's just laying there sprawled out. Is there anything memeable besides Fortify Your Minds?
Yeah, with Fortify Your Mind is
Fortify Your Minds! Like, the way he
it's
says
almost
it.
like a Macho Man line.
Yeah, dude, actually
Fortify
it is.
Your Mind.
Fortify Your Minds! All right, Jay, is there anything else you want to say about this movie? We've gone through all the categories except for where to put it on the list.
I just really, dude, the visuals team, dude, in Marvel it's just unfucking paralleled. Like, when you look at the fucking scenes in, like, especially when they get real weird and cosmic and shit, in, like, Guardians or Loki.
We didn't really talk about the fucking, like,
so
traveling to dimension shit.
The traveling dimensions is so cool. I really like how they did it. And the incursion, like the melded universes or whatever. This just is so cool, dude. And I feel like it's not talked about enough that the people who do the visuals and just come up with these super, super cool ideas, just straight up, it's so badass. And they deserve to be making hella money, dude.
Yeah, for sure. If they're not, they should be. Because this shit's balling. I'm just still confused by people. I expected to go, because people had been saying that, and I was like, okay, I'm not someone who's super critical, like walking in to a movie, so I expected to see some bad CGI that I just didn't notice before. I just didn't.
Yeah,
I just didn't notice it, and I was looking for it. Like, I was like, that it didn't. Nothing. I mean, it's supposed to be fantastical looking. If you're saying, oh, when Wanda crawls through the gong and she has to build her body back together, it doesn't look realistic. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not real. Newsflash. Not actually real.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jay, where are we putting this on the list?
It's A tier to me, dude.
I think so too. I don't think it's as good as Spider-Man, because we talked about Spider-Man. It's a cultural event.
Yeah.
This wasn't a cultural event. It was just a good superhero movie and a good supervillain movie.
Yeah.
You know, and it did some fun stuff. It's not an origin story, so it's not trapped in like that kind of stuff that you have to worry about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it introduced some characters just to kill them, and sometimes that's okay. And
yeah,
I just really enjoyed it. I think it's better than the first Doctor Strange for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's near the top of A tier to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that's where we'll put it. And
I agree. It's really good. Like, I don't really have anything bad to say about the movie.
No.
Like, I wouldn't say that there was anything like absolutely mind blowing that would put it in S tier.
Well,
for me.
don't say that to Black Bolt.
Yeah, his mind did get blown, but it was still so good. I have nothing bad to say about the movie. Good villain. Good. I have no complaints about Doctor Strange either.
And you know what? I didn't say this. I really liked this movie. Another reason I really liked it is, you know, we've talked about this a little bit. Doctor Strange comes off as very ineffective in the movies where it's not his movie.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that here. He
didn't seem to like accidentally do the right thing either.
Right. He came up with he had way cooler powers. Mm-hmm. Like, he was doing like the cool Hydra one, and he had the weird like dog come and grab the car with its mouth.
That was cool too.
And
yeah.
Like, he was using all these weird animals, and like his powers just seem so much cooler. Like, he's a better sorcerer now. Like,
yeah.
So he's using cooler shit.
I'm using the motherfucking whip again. I'm using the motherfucking shield again.
Oh yeah, I'm putting you in the mirror dimension.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they did so much more interesting things with his powers.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the bad CGI people are talking about, was that weird dog. But I think it was supposed to look stupid.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like an other dimensional being that just comes in and just, it sees something and it fucking bites it, and then it goes back to a different dimension.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. But I just think it's a really good sequel. I think Marvel hasn't routinely done.
Yeah, I think it's one of the, if not
sequels.
The best, it's one of the best sequels.
Right. They haven't.
Name a better sequel.
Well, a better second movie, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah.
The movie after the origin movie typically hasn't done well, but I think Doctor Strange hit out of the park. I think Spider-Man's up there.
Yeah.
Is there another one even worth mentioning? Because
it's like Iron Man 2, no.
Iron Man 2,
Thor 2,
Iron Man 2,
no.
I will say Iron Man 2 is good, but it's a disappointment compared to the first one.
Yeah.
Thor 2 is terrible. Captain America 2, that's the other one I was gonna say. Winter Soldier is a really good movie.
Yeah.
And it's better than the first movie for sure.
Yeah, I would say that.
So Winter Soldier.
But that's because I don't like the first one.
Well, we'll get to that. Guardians, a disappointment compared to the first one.
I really like Guardians too.
I really like Guardians too, but
I
think it's a very
Guardians 2.
entertaining movie. I don't think it's as good of a movie as one. But again,
One is just so goated though.
Exactly. I just think it was tough to even get close to one, in my opinion. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's just not as good. It was a bit of a disappointment, in my opinion. Have there been any other sequels? Avengers 2? No. Age of Ultron is not as good as the original Avengers. You know, so there's definitely a second movie problem, but Doctor Strange seems to have
it got better.
It got better, which is awesome. And it's not like Doctor Strange original was bad.
No.
So yeah, very very excited to see what they do with them next. With
and I think it's really cool to be able to do Doctor Strange because, like, honestly, Doctor Strange is like way more powerful than like 99% of the fucking people in the Marvel universe.
For sure.
You know?
There's a reason he's normally part of the Illuminati. It's because he's very powerful.
He's just OP as fuck. So like, even without the time stone, he's still OP as fuck.
Right.
I remember seeing he has the Eye of Agamotto or whatever on, and I'm like, why the fuck does he have that? But I guess it's like a clasp for his.
Well, no, the Eye of Agamotto is a powerful relic on its own, but it housed the time stone because it's the only relic they could use to house the time stone.
Okay. So it has its own abilities.
Yes, he even uses it
without the time stone.
He uses it to try and open the door. It doesn't work, obviously, because he needed the watch. But no, yeah, it's
that makes sense.
Because Agamotto in the comics, he was the one who wrote the Book of Ashanti.
He's the OG, like Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, and he wrote the Book of Ashanti, which one of my nitpicks too in the movie that we didn't say. I thought the whole time I watched it the first time they were saying Book of Ashanti. Did you feel that, or did you know they were saying Vashanti?
No, I thought they said Ashanti.
Yeah, it's Vashanti.
Vashanti. Okay.
And this time when watching it, one time I heard Wong say Vashanti, but every other time it sounds like they're saying the Book of Ashanti.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was like, who's Ashanti? But it's Vashanti.
Vashanti. I also think so. Like, obviously, Christine is like, yo, this place is the place in between all of the dimensions or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or the universes. And then that fucking book gets burnt up. Like, that's gotta mean some shit, bro.
Well, and another thing too, and we're in the weeds again, but what the fuck is that universe gonna do?
Yeah, that universe is doomed. The Illuminati's dead except for Mordo.
Yeah, presumably the reason that's like a utopian paradise is the combined powers of Reed Richards and Professor Xavier, right?
Yeah.
Because Reed Richards is typically known as the smartest person in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Assumedly, he made those Ultron bots.
Right. Presumably he did, because we didn't see any Iron Man and we didn't see any Ant-Man, who in the comics made the Ultron.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do there, because Reed Richards is dead, and I wonder if this is like, this is like a big theory of mine right now. We talked about Nathaniel Richards, right?
Yeah.
And talked about the Richards lineage and how it ends up being Kang. I wonder if this is like the universe, like if Wanda somehow causes Kang.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because
that'd be cool too.
You know, like for whatever reason things go to shit and Sue Storm can't be a single mom. I don't know. It's
like the combination of like, well, I mean, it could be descendants as well, right?
Right.
But like, it's like the combination of like Loki happening and Wanda happening,
for sure,
right?
For sure.
Where it's like, this could spawn this shit.
Yeah, and it seems like we're really building to a Secret Wars style thing where there's people from all kinds of different dimensions fighting, and you know, that's why when people are like, "Oh, well, that's it for Toby and Andrew Garfield," I wouldn't be so sure. Like, I think they're really gonna try to throw everything at the wall here.
I think that's it for Toby.
You think so?
I think it's it for Toby, yeah.
I don't know, man.
It kind of seemed like he really got his closure, dude. And I think that's what Tobey Maguire wanted for his Spider-Man.
Yeah, maybe.
Andrew Garfield, I could see him wanting to be
Well,
Spider-Man
I'm just saying,
again.
I don't think he's going to do anything meaningful.
And I think his character could be a thing again as well.
I don't think he's going to do anything meaningful, but we got this secret war going on, and there's all these. Picture the end of Endgame, but like more, right?
Yeah.
Because they're in like fucking Dormammu's multiverse, and,
yeah.
and he just swings by and is like, hey. You know
I
what
could
mean?
see that, I guess. Yeah.
That's what I meant, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're definitely headed towards some crazy shit, and the next movie we have is Thor, which I think Thor is going to be more of a personal story.
Yeah.
It seems it's definitely, they really like doing character building with Thor. At least since
His character development is so good.
he said, I would argue that like he's almost like, this is like a Kingdom Hearts comparison, but he's almost Riku-like now at this point.
He's absolutely Riku-like.
But they continue to like do things to him to make him try and grow again, right? Which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess my question for you, Jason, now that we've wrapped up with Doctor Strange, is what do you want to do next? We have Thor coming in July, and we probably want to watch all 3 Thor movies before that, right?
Yeah.
But we also have WandaVision sitting there, which makes sense to watch to me at some point. Or we could just go a completely different direction
I don't
and
know.
watch whatever.
I think we should do Thor.
All right.
I love WandaVision, but like they do a good enough job in Doctor Strange kind of rehashing what happened.
Yeah,
right?
I noticed that if you didn't watch WandaVision, they don't even
It doesn't
mention
even matter.
They don't even mention that Vision was alive.
Yeah, they don't mention White Vision. They don't mention what's her like superhero name? Like Photon?
I don't remember.
I think it's like Photon. But anyway,
Maria Rambeau.
My girl Monica.
Wait, is Maria the older one?
Yeah.
Okay,
My
so
girl
Maria
Monica
Rambeau was in
Rambeau.
this movie.
The love of my life, Monica Rambeau. She was not mentioned. Skrulls not mentioned. White Vision not mentioned. None of that shit. So you literally did it. Like, and they literally.
Doctor Strange at one point just he just randomly goes, "She held the whole town hostage."
Yeah.
He just says it when they're talking about
With
like
just her mind.
he just says it.
That's kind of his worst Doctor Strange line, where Benedict kind of fucks up his voice a little bit.
She held the whole town hostage with her mind. It's like easy, bud, easy. And
Yeah, it kind of seems like it's time to go back to bed, Grandpa.
yeah, it's so
moment.
expositional
It just
too.
seems so random.
Maybe
yeah.
that's the worst scene in the movie when he comes back from Wanda and he's like, Wang, what the fuck? Wong is like, what the fuck? Wong is like, yo, we have to make Karmatage a fortress.
Dude, actually, yeah, that was something that I wanted to mention that I forgot about. Wong is the most goated fucking.
Fortify your mind.
He's the most goated Sorcerer Supreme, bro. You're telling me, motherfucking Ancient One is like, okay, there's a rogue dude who literally has this fucking spell.
Right.
Dormammu's gonna come, like all this shit. And it feels like nothing fucking happens, bro.
Right.
She's not getting the motherfucking troops ready. Apparently both sanctums are fucking empty. Like all this shit, right? And it feels like they rectified it in this movie with people coming from the Hong Kong and England sanctums.
I do have a nitpick with this though.
And like people actually like, yo, there's a threat. Let's actually fucking do something about it.
The Karmatage is under much better leadership with Wong, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The guy who ran the British sanctum was not nearly British enough for me.
True, dude.
He should have walked to the portal like, you what?
You should.
Should have walked to
Oh
the
my
portal.
god.
Fucking crooked teeth.
You what?
I did like how they had a fucking red phone booth in the background though as they were coming through the portal.
Yep,
Did you
yep.
see that?
So
shit?
you knew. So
you knew they were from Britain.
Yeah.
You had like that motherfucker's just
How'd
sitting
you
in their
know I was
sanctum.
British? Yeah, dude. What the fuck? Well, also, yeah, they're like coming in from the middle of the street, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what the? Like, I get that's how you're supposed to show where they're coming from, right? But like, you're telling me they want to have like portals from their sanctum, like
Bro,
being inside
the
the
MCU,
sanctum?
you can just do that shit in the middle of the street now in the MCU and no one cares.
Motherfuckers don't
Dude.
care,
No one
bro.
fucking cares. Like,
Motherfuckers complain about it. They're like, dude, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm just trying to deliver this DoorDash food, and motherfucking Doctor Strange is fighting a goddamn hentai monster in the fucking street. Now
Yo,
I'm gonna get a
hold
bad tip on my DoorDash
Hold on.
order.
Who was the motherfucker that this fight's been going on for minutes, and then he just rolls his motorcycle up to fucking Shumagorath, dude?
True.
Who is this motherfucker? Maybe they couldn't see it. Maybe
Dude,
you're right.
he was listening to Sunflower, bro.
Well, no, they could definitely see it because the wedding party comes out. The wedding party comes out and
Yeah.
goes, look at that. So they could definitely see it. So
No,
what
yeah.
is wrong with this man?
Yeah.
Why was he just... He's like, I'll just drive my motorcycle right through that fucking tentacle monster.
He was wearing headphones while driving, dude.
Holy shit.
Never do that shit.
Holy shit. Anyway,
Just blast your music.
we love this movie. We love doing this podcast. Next time we do it, hopefully in a week or 2 or 3, we will do Thor 1, the original Thor movie, starring Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings.
Yes, dude. Directed by
And Tom Hiddleston.
directed by the GOAT. Taika Waititi.
No, not the first Thor.
Oh no, I was thinking about the new movie. I don't know why I'm thinking about the new movie.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was like,
When you're listing like these people who I like before you said Tom Hiddleston, I thought you were making a joke that Tom Hiddleston would be in the new movie.
he might be. You never know.
Right. I don't know why I was thinking we were talking about the new
No, we're
one.
talking
dude.
about. We gotta watch Thor 1.
Yeah. No, that's what you're talking about. It's 1:30 in the morning. Full disclosure, guys.
Full disclosure. It's 1:30 in the morning. We've been recording for an hour and a half.
I've been up since 8, so
Anyway, we will see you guys next time.
Excelsior!
There it is. All right, Jason, post-credit scene. So I talked about this with you guys in Eternals, and this is the mid-credit scene. I'm sorry.
Mid-credit.
And the Marvel's doing this thing, and they did it a little bit with John Krasinski here in this movie, but they're doing this thing where they're casting famous actors and actresses, not characters that we care about.
Like Harry Styles.
Like Harry Styles in Eternals, or Jon Snow in Eternals. But now here we have Charlize Theron playing a character named Clea from the comics, who checks notes, marries Doctor Strange in the comics, and is a sorcerer supreme herself, and is Dormammu's niece.
That's crazy.
And she shows up and goes,
You need the bigger, there's always a bigger fish nerd to know that.
right, exactly. And that's why I guess if they're not revealing, there's not really a ton of big characters they can reveal other than like bringing back X-Men or Fantastic Four or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I guess their solution to that is to bring these big actors and actresses in to do these roles, because then you're like hooked, because you're like, yo, it's Charlize Theron. I know her from movies she's in. And like, you go, cool. I do like that now that it seems like Doctor Strange is wrapped up like his whole on again, off again with Christine, and he's at peace with it, that we're introducing a new romantic interest for him.
Yeah, that's cool.
However, I thought the scene at best was meh. And I wanted to say this earlier. It's probably my least favorite scene in the movie, but I didn't want to shit on this segment. So
That's true.
this is my least favorite scene in the movie, and because I'm getting a
Also
little,
the rehash that we're walking down the street again.
yeah, we're doing that again. It's a little confusing the way they do it. And the idea is the reveal is supposed to be that, oh, that crazy thing at the end of the movie that happened, that was like he was screaming in the street. He's fine with it now.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you how he's fine with it or why he's fine with it or when he's fine with it, but he's fine with it now. He's fine with his third eye. And in the comics, Doctor Strange has had a third eye, and it doesn't necessarily mean something evil. But the implication with this is that the Darkhold is destroyed, but the power still resides in him.
Yeah.
The evil power. The Darkhold
I think that's
takes
the
a toll.
idea, yeah.
So for him just to be fine with it and go, hey, my third eye's here. Well, and he seems almost like charmed by her. Well, at first he seems alarmed. And she goes, you've caused an incursion. We need to go fix it. And he's kind of looking at her like, who's this? Right?
Yeah.
And then she goes, that's if you're up for it or something like that.
And
And then
he's
he
like,
smiles and goes,
"Hey."
hey, do you know I have a third eye? He's like, check this shit out, baby. Look at this. She also like slices the dimension open with like some weird sword, dagger thing.
It looked like a Psylocke blade to me, like a smaller one.
Jason leaned over and goes, is that Psylocke? And I go, I don't fucking know. 'Cause neither of us are big enough nerds. I knew because I'd seen the movie already and I looked it up. But
he would have not known. He
I
would
would
have
have
like,
not
I don't
known.
know, maybe.
Literally, Jazz and Tara were like, who's that? I go, Charlize Theron. 'Cause I don't know who the fuck this character is. So,
True.
the second credit scene.
I wasn't super hyped for it. I think, well, I like the idea because like when you look inside, it looks like this like Dormammu.
It looks like where Dormammu was in the first movie. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, she says he caused an incursion. So is the idea that like where an incursion has happened, that like it's where like Dormammu takes over?
Or
that
are they
shit?
traveling to the incursion?
Yeah, because then I'm not sure. Like, because it seemed like where the evil strange was at was where an incursion happened as well.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. It's kind of like a toss up.
Well, did Clea show up for that Strange and go, hey, you caused an incursion?
And then he's like, "Yo, look at my third eye, baby."
She's like, not again. The second one, which is the Pizza Papa, which we didn't talk about the Pizza Papa at all. Played by Bruce Campbell,
fuck the Pizza Papa, dude.
I like Pizza Papa.
I'm mad that she didn't get to eat the pizza balls because that shit looked bussin'.
I mean, it's implied that she ate them; they just don't show it.
It looks bussin', and then also the fact that like he's in a motherfucking utopia, right?
Right.
Like Thanos got killed and shit. Like that, none of that shit had to happen. There's fucking plants growing on the fucking skyscrapers and shit. It looks fucking. The only thing that's cursed is the fact that you got red to go and green to stop, dude.
Right. But then you got the Pizza Papa there.
And he's being an asshole still. How you being a fucking New York asshole?
She
still
stole his food.
In motherfucking utopia, dude.
If anything, she stole his food. That's probably how he makes a living. We didn't see the fucking slums of this city.
I don't know, dude.
It probably exists. It's just hidden.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker wheels his cart.
It's getting policed by Ultron bots.
He wheels his cart from the slums every day just to sell his fucking pizza balls. And then some dumb little girl comes and takes them. And then he says, hey, wait a minute. You should pay me for my service. And they say no, and then Doctor Strange casts a spell on him, so he punches himself in the face for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Not just punches himself, like slams his own head on the cart and shit.
To be fair, he was going to squirt mustard in Doctor Strange's face, and that is a travesty, and he should be put in jail.
Mike
for
hates mustard.
But then the scene is he finally stops punching himself, and he looks at the camera to look at us and goes, "It's over!" And I liked it. And the reason I liked it was twofold. I thought it was clever. It had a double meaning, like, haha, he's done punching himself, but also the movie's over. And two, I am literally energized by the groans from the movie theater when people don't like the end credit scene. Because
it's like so stupid because it's been so formulaic with this shit. You have one that matters and one that's a joke.
Right. And so the joke one comes up, and people go, in the theater, and I fucking love it. Which it's funny that I'm saying that because I was like pissed off at the fucking Batman one.
Yeah.
But the Batman one wasn't funny.
And you were trying to hold in.
And I was.
You had to pee really
bad. My
bad.
piss meter was full.
Shut the fuck up.
My piss meter was overflowing.
Shut the fuck up. He was like, oh.
Yeah, I was.
He's doing a little potty dance.
I was doing the Sims potty dance.
It was like he was Boo in Monsters Inc. Like jumping on.
I gotta go potty. Anyway, so that was that scene. Please, Marvel, keep doing. Well, you know what? Okay, let me be clear.
Let me be clear.
Let me be clear. My urine was clear. Let me be clear.
Dude, when your piss meter's yellow, that's not good. You need to drink more fluid.
For sure.
It's not clear enough.
My piss meter stinks.
Yeah, it's asparagus.
Smells like asparagus. I only want scenes like that if they're funny. Like,
That'd actually be good, yeah.
Don't fucking put the musical from Hawkeye at the end of Hawkeye.
That is disgusting, true.
That was terrible.
That deserves a groan.
I can't wait till we cover Hawkeye so I can bitch and moan about that. Because that sucked.
Yeah.
That made me, like, unreasonably angry.
Yeah.
We already saw the majority of the song in the show.
Almost ruined the ending for me, but I was like, don't think about it, Jason. That was a good show.
Right, that show was good, but fuck that post-credit scene. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Fuck off.